All right. Welcome to an introduction to building successful portfolios, the portfolio workshop presented by me. I'm Deeya, and
me, I'm Rachel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's some of the stuff that we're going to cover. I'm not going to run through this list because you can just look at it on the screen. But I guess a little disclaimer before we get started. I myself am more familiar with like UI, UX design in games, and also in the past I did a lot of work with like animation, visual development, art. So that's my area of expertise. And
I mostly do concept art and illustration for video games, and it's more so like my personal work is more so in like the Riot Blizzard style, and then like in my experiences, it's like spanned from like mobile games to like anime style games. So that's my specialty.
yeah, so we'll try to cover like tips that everyone can apply to their portfolio regardless of what your area of expertise is in. But just be knowledgeable about the fact that our advice is also going to reflect our own personal skills and experiences.
All right, that's me. I have brown hair now. So I'm a full-time illustrator and concept artist at Parhelion Studio. That is a local game studio in Ann Arbor. We mostly do mobile like anime gacha games, but we have since rebranded from Gaudium, which was our previous name. Lots of fun projects that we'll probably sneak peek later. On the side, I'm also an art lead at Rice Games. We're working on this JRPG called Shujinko, and it teaches you Japanese. Been on that project since I was...
It's ancient
I just
lore.
graduated, not graduated. I just started sophomore year of college, and I joined that team. We're still going hard. And I'm also on the side as well, a freelance artist, and I have some work with the trading card game called Grand Archive. That was kind of done through our studio, but I worked on Empires and Puzzles with Moon Colony. They're an outsourced studio in the UK. I have an upcoming character design with Yonder AI Girlfriend Simulator. Fun name. And more to come. Those are my socials. I abandoned all of my social media for 5 years or so. No, I'm just kidding. 3 years or so. But I'm trying to get back into it and post more art there. And that's me. Next slide. This is like a quick spreadsheet. This is just a sample of my work. I really like Zelda, so I have fan art there. There's environment concept that I do that I really suck at, but I don't like environments, but I try to do them. And I mostly do character designs, and as you can see kind of on the right. And then the dude blasting off is from, it's a trading card illustration I did.
And hello, I am Deeya. I am the UI UX lead, and I'm also an artist. I work with Rachel at Parhelion. I have past experience mainly within kind of the animation industry, with being a background/illustration lead for Asians in Animation, which is an organization that's dedicated to getting more Asians in animation. And I've also worked as a graphic artist at the William Davidson Institute in the Ross School of Business for a bit. My socials are Deeya on Twitter and Instagram. I have not been posting. I don't remember the last time I posted on there, just because so much of my time goes into work these days. But I will get back on that grind as well. And here's some of my stuff. What I do professionally at work doesn't involve a lot of this particular style. This is some of my, it's like old art, but yeah. Okay, so basics of a portfolio. Should I?
You can go. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just turning the volume up.
You're good. Okay. Is this better? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so for this event, we're going to be focusing more on this first definition, which is, your strongest pieces that are relevant to the job, studio, or project that you're applying for. But it's also important to remember that there's a lot of different definitions as to what a portfolio is. Like no two portfolios are going to look the same, and people have very different goals for their portfolio. And it's like there's no portfolio that is inherently wrong or bad, unless you have an empty portfolio, I guess. Okay, yeah. And we're just going to do a very rapid fire overview of these are like the most common jobs within like the animation and video games industry, and we're just going to do a very quick rapid fire round of what each portfolio involves. So I'll start off with the visual development artist portfolio. VizDev is a term, in my opinion, that gets thrown around a lot. A lot of people want to be VizDev artists within animation, and the perception is that it's a role where you draw really pretty backgrounds and characters and like colors and cute like fonts here and there. But the reality of the role is that it really requires you to shape that visual development off whatever project you're on, which will require you to draw pretty boring stuff like a lamp in 5 different perspectives, like a street sign and, the top of a bus, and really boring stuff from time to time. But you need to be able to draw characters, props, backgrounds, textures equally good. And you need to be able to ideate, sketch, explore different ideas fast and well. As I said, be able to make really detailed call-outs for different props, etc. Have a good grasp of color, and have a good understanding of how different animation roles work. Which is why a lot of times this tends to be a senior role within the industry.
So for concept artists in video games, a lot of that overlaps with what Deeya said. You're basically a designer for what the game looks like, or what a mechanic or what environment characters look like. A lot of big studios will have you specializing in a specific thing. You can be like a character-specific concept artist, or if you're in a smaller indie studio, you're probably more generalist. You're probably handling anything art-related for how something looks. You probably see online lots of really polished pieces of like this is beautiful painting of a background, or like a castle or something, but in reality a lot of the concept art that happens on a day-to-day job is like very rough sketches, and so it is a lot more about just speed, getting ideas out, and designing the function, or like thinking about the function of a character, of a piece of armor or weapon of sorts. And the aesthetics of it usually, the aesthetics are important, but like the polish of it is not as big as what you see on ArtStation or something. I got it, yeah.
Okay, moving on to storyboard artists. This is one of those roles within animation that I think there's a lot of scope for hiring. A lot of people start off their careers within animation if you're an artist as a storyboard artist. You need to have bulletproof anatomy and perspective. It doesn't really matter if you can't draw like super pretty looking, finished looking characters. You just need to be able to draw them well and convey convey an accurate sense of like motion, action, story. And you need to be able to draw really, really fast. And you also need to be knowledgeable about things like camera movement, acting, humor, comedic timing, pacing, etc. Okay, do you want me to go over 3D artist? Okay, for any type of, or 3D artist or any type of 3D roles, it's important to, decide on a focus, like modeling, rigging, or animation. Depending on type of 3D work, you might require a demo reel. If you're doing animation or VFX, you will require some sort of a demo reel. One quick note about demo reels, if you have them, regardless of 2D or 3D animation, is that it needs to be able to be played without sound. A lot of people apparently make demo reels that are really cool, but that are like timed to like music. Then when it's played without sound, it just doesn't seem that good. You also need to be knowledgeable about things within your particular discipline. Like, I am not a 3D artist myself, but I've heard a lot of people talk about like, UV unwrapping, being aware of polygons and stuff. So yeah, research that. Keep a lookout for that.
What do they mean by character prop artist? Skip over that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ignore character prop artist. I think that kind of falls under concept artist. But typically in AAA gaming, character artist or prop artist usually refers to 3D modeling. Like they are the people turning your concept art into a 3D model. But we're going to skip this because our notes are redundant. Okay. Illustrator. Okay, so when you think of an illustrator or illustration for games or in general, it's typically like the very fancy splash art that's on like the. Oh my god, I'm blanking out. Okay, riot splash art, stuff like that, or the cover, the box art on a game. The thing that is on the top of the Steam page. I'm twigging today.
Cover art?
Cover, exactly, yes. Okay, so your work needs to have a good sense of attention grabbing. It's very high polished for the most part. And also, for a lot of studios, the concept artist is also sometimes the illustrator. There's a lot of overlap between concept art and illustration, or just, it's very interchangeable in your skills. And basically, to be a good illustrator, you have to have a good grasp of color, composition, anatomy, perspective, but it's less so about designing and more so about storytelling, about making a very high quality finished piece.
Yeah, when it comes to UI UX design in video games in particular, if you're someone that's interested in this, you can have a conversation with me about this specifically, because it's one of those things where it's like hard to find a lot of good information online. But with any design portfolio, the biggest thing is how you design your portfolio itself. If you have a badly designed design portfolio, I don't know what to tell you. As the first thing, like recruiters would probably notice. But yeah, you need to have a strong grasp of traditional design principles and knowledge of when to bend them to make your designs unique. If you're designing for video games in particular, you need to be knowledgeable about how is it different designing between like mobile, console, PC. You need to know about like accessibility rules, whereas like, if someone is colorblind, if someone is low vision, like how are they going to read and interpret your designs? That's really, really important. Font sizing, all that stuff. You need to be knowledgeable about the limitations of the game engine that you're possibly designing for, and show off your technical skills when possible. I feel like with design, there's a lot of overlap with coding and tech. Yeah, that's a general overview of all these different jobs. Okay, general portfolio tips.
Okay, so this is a lot of information that we've kind of collected over the years of just rapidly like hunting down people to ask questions and like lurking around in Discord servers and stuff like that. Generally, you want to take into account the studio, project, or show that you're applying for. So your portfolio should reflect aspects of what that studio is known for. If you're making fan art for like a known IP, that is all good stuff for you. So take the time to research the studio or project. But also, this mostly applies for if you're gunning for like a larger studio. Like, say if you're going to Riot, they're going to want to see like League or Valorant fan art. If you're going for Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, it's like your style should be basically their style to match. They pretty much won't consider other people. Nice thing to know that like when I'm lurking online, like a lot of the fan artists that I've seen making League art, like back in like long time ago, like they're now working at Riot, and it's like. The pipeline is there. And then do you want to just take the whole slide?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Structure-wise, you want to have it so that you have a strong piece at the top of your portfolio. You can put your mid ones, it should be good, but like mid ones in the center and then end it off with a strong piece so that, the first impression and the lasting impression are the best pieces that you have for the recruiter to see. For VizDev and for concept art, you want to include your process and your exploration. So like if you're making a character design, you want to show them how you arrived to the final piece. So it's like including sketches of like what this character could have looked like, what were your inspirations, maybe including a mood board, depending on the project, of course. But recruiters love to see ideation. And then quality over quantity. You don't need a big portfolio to get hired. I've heard that you can have a minimum of 3 pieces, and that's good enough, because I think the saying is like, oh, if you have 1 piece, it's like, oh, could that be luck? 2 pieces, it's like still kind of luck, but 3 pieces, like, okay, you're consistent enough to create pieces of this quality. So take your time making good pieces. Don't just cram in things that you kind of like but are not that great, or they're old art, just to pad out your portfolio. Just make sure that everything is intentional and the best of your work.
Yeah, like there's a very popular saying where it's like you can have 10 really good pieces, and then the 11th piece is like something that is like not that great. The recruiter will judge you on your worst piece, and they will let that one piece poison their mind against you. So beware of that. Yeah. Another tip would be don't put in work that you don't want to get hired for, no matter how good it looks. Like, I know when you're kind of just getting started out, or like you're a college student, you have made a lot of great work in a lot of different disciplines, and you want to put that all into your portfolio because you're proud of it and it looks good. But, if you put in work that you don't want to do as a career in your portfolio, and someone likes it and someone hires you for it, like, you're going to be miserable at your job. So like, yeah, don't just only put in the kind of work that you would want to do and you would want to get hired for. Specific work versus generalist.
This is kind of what I mentioned earlier, but if you're going for a large studio, you're going to want to specialize in something, whether it's props, whether it's like environments only, if it's character design only. You want to make sure that you're the best at what you're doing for this very specific thing, because those big studios only want the best of the best for that very specific thing. If it's like a smaller indie game studio or like a smaller animation studio, you want to have more generalist work where you kind of wear a lot of hats. You can do different things, like, oh, I can animate, I can do backgrounds, I can do UI. Like, that's something that they get the bang for their buck. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind for planning your future and what kind of work you want to make.
Go to the next slide.
Yeah, we're going to cover this bottom part later. Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, yeah, no, right now. The harsh truth. I have
really
learned
lock
this
in here, guys.
I've learned this painfully. I'm gonna scoot up a little. Okay, so the last time I gave this talk was in October 2022. And then since then, I went to GDC 2023, and then I went crazy going on like a hiring. I was like, I need to get a different job. I want a new job. Or like, I want to work more. And so I went crazy for like a year, interviewing, doing art tests, working at those like experiences I talked about. And I got fucking cooked. Like my shit got roasted. And it was very humbling to know the level of skill that they expect in like AA or above. So I cannot stress to you how important it is that you need to train your fundamental drawing skills. And it's like, all of you can draw well. You all go to art school, or you are here for a reason. But you have to be able to, what do I want to say? Like, drawing well or drawing good and, what am I trying to say? Take over.
It's like the level that the industry is at right now, unfortunately, is really, really high, just because of the availability of tutorials and stuff on social media, online communities and stuff, means that people much younger are getting good much faster, and companies hire globally. The competition is it's very sad, but it's really rough. It gets rougher every year. So whatever we're saying right now, where it's like, well, you have to draw well, you're already drawing well, but you have to draw at like a better, higher level. It's like that level, it's hard to describe how good some of these people are. And like a little tangent right now, which you guys might have heard like just in the news and stuff, the state of the animation and video games industry right now is bad. It is a dumpster fire. There are so many layoffs, hiring freezes, and you're competing with people who are experienced and who have done all this great work, people from all over the world. So because the competition is so fierce, you really cannot afford to slack on making sure your basics, no matter what your discipline is, making sure those basics are covered so that you can worry about polishing and worry about finding your own like niche and finding your own voice that sets you apart as an artist.
Mm-hmm. So like I don't know if what's up? Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. Just to make sure, when you say like a double A company, is it like a company that's like Disney or like, I don't know, like Cartoon Network or something like that?
Double A would be a little bit below that level. That would be like Super Giant Games. Like they're still semi-indie, but they have a really big budget.
Okay.
Triple A would be like Disney, would be
Okay.
Riot, Blizzard, what's Activision? That's the same thing actually, never mind. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we listed out some of the things that that are the biggest pitfalls for artists right now. It's anatomy and perspective, and I personally also really struggle with that as well. And in order to improve, we've listed out some like a training regimen. And so for number one, I did this up until like I don't know, middle of college, but you have to draw more than just a generic pretty character, like maybe waist up or like bust up, front facing 3/4 view. Like you have to do more angles, you have to do full bodies, you have to do all sorts of poses. You switch it up a little bit. And I guess following that, it's like you have to do a lot of gesture and figure drawing to really understand how anatomy works, how you're posing a character in a funky angle, how they look, maybe swinging a sword, but understanding how the human body works and just having that I already said that. Yeah, having that in your locked in your brain. Lots of gesture drawing. You can think of.
Okay. Yeah, to improve on backgrounds and environments in particular, it's really helpful to study the like old masters. Because generally, like they went crazy with the traditional painting and stuff. But it's also really important to be able to draw and capture real life. Plein air painting and quick studies, weird angles, like all that is really helpful to understand and contextualize backgrounds. It helps with composition, helps with like storytelling and narrative when it comes to backgrounds as well. In terms of perspective, like the most popular thing to like start off with is just drawing a lot of boxes. A lot of different angles. It's like, well, we have some visual examples in the next slide, but it's like you can construct anything and everything out of a bunch of different boxes drawn at different angles. Yeah, you want to go over the last point?
Yeah. To summarize everything, you just have to draw more. And it's like, you're probably already drawing a lot for yourself, for school, but that's not enough. You have to draw more than that. Even if it's like 30 minutes a day during lunch, you can set aside just this quick session of doing some studies on Pinterest. Like, it's really nice to have a physical sketchbook or your iPad or whatever, and just doodle that out. It doesn't have to be super polished. Don't worry about it looking good. It's just practice, and it's very good for you. We've included some examples of like what those boxes in perspective look like and how that could translate into constructing the human body. On the right is a breakdown of like the torso and down to the muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's by Will Weston.
He's a professor at the Art Center College.
He's a professor at the Art Center, and these are all names that like you can. Well, we have. Written down later on. You can go look at their social media or whatever. That's like the middle picture on the bottom is plein air. It's a painting from real life that someone did really quickly outside. And I'm gonna plug my unofficial mentor on the bottom right. His name is Rembert Montauld. He's a senior concept artist who used to work at Riot, and he roasted my shit very nicely. He has a book out.
She's actually plugged
I
in.
actually plugged it. Now I'm embarrassed. Okay, yeah, next.
Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
You can start off.
Okay. So we've written down some tips for getting your foot into the industry. So the most important thing that you don't realize, and I didn't know this for a long time, and it's like it's to be actually hold on, let me restart this. Okay, so 80% is an arbitrary number I made, but it is kind of how it is. Networking will get most people their jobs, and we were told by a senior professional that, I guess at Riot, for example, people who have referrals are, how do I explain this? Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, it's like apparently a thing. I don't know how applicable this is to other industries, but recruiters within the video games industry, at least, they are obligated to look at referrals before looking at any other application. So that's why like a lot of cold applications sometimes don't end up working out, is because they usually have someone in mind or have a referral or stuff like that. That's why networking really important.
A lot of the people that are hired didn't even apply to a job posting. Like there was no job posting. It was just completely like private conversations between a recruiter that found them on social media, or they were referred by someone they know. So it's like networking is super key. Okay, if you don't have one, get a LinkedIn. There are a lot of people who just post, like they make a post. They're like, our studio is looking for an artist, or is looking for anything, but they don't make a job posting. It's very, very good to be on LinkedIn and making connections. If you can, I would recommend going to GDC if you're interested in the games industry. It's a great way to just talk to more people, like in person. We in Michigan are very much far away from the hotspot, which is California. So going to GDC there and making connections is great. There's always people looking for artists as well who go there to network and find people to hire. Lightbox, I would give to Deeya because I've never been.
Yeah, Lightbox is more catered towards people in the animation industries. If you're interested in getting a job within the animation industry, Lightbox would be your place. It's similar to GDC in that there's like portfolio reviews, there's all these lectures that happen, there's an artist alley, companies come out there. It's a good place for you to like get face-to-face time with recruiters and find senior people in the industry to try to get to adopt you.
Oh, I think games are also present in Lightbox. Like it's just a big art fest. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
And the last thing to kind of do, it's expensive, so it's not accessible for everyone. But if you can, try keeping a lookout for mentorships, especially if they're offered by people who work or have worked at the jobs or studios that you want to get into. It's a great way to not only have someone help you facilitate your own art growth, but also you create a connection with someone who can maybe vouch for you or refer you to a job. Yes.
Yeah. This is something that you might suffer from, especially as a college student or maybe going into being a recent grad, is that you might think, I don't want to be a burden on this person. I don't want to keep messaging them. I don't want to send the first message, blah, blah, blah. Do not be shy when it comes to networking and reaching out. Like I consider myself as someone that's like an introvert. I'm not that great at talking to new people, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, you have to be shameless. Like send that connection request, send messages, connect with anyone that you possibly can. Like send the DMs, send the emails. And if they don't respond to you, like you have to learn the art of the follow-up. Like obviously don't keep like pestering them, like messaging them like every hour, like please reply back, please reply back. please. But yeah, be tenacious. And I guess like a thing to keep in mind though with all of this is like don't just use, unless they're a recruiter and like that is literally their job, don't use people just to get jobs. Like don't reach out to them just to be like, can you give me a referral link, or just to be like, oh, is your company hiring right now? Especially if they're like a random artist. Like be genuinely curious about people and their work and go into the conversations trying to learn from them. Like try to form those genuine connections, because oftentimes that's what ends up unexpectedly leading you to a lot of different opportunities.
we've included some websites that I personally frequent quite a bit, and I think this covers a good spread of where all the jobs are posted. We have Work with Indies, lots of good indie studios on there. There's ArtStation as well, lots of big and small studios, and also like individuals looking for art. You can maybe find something there. There's Game Jobs at Work. That's an aggregator site, but it's a 2D, 3D art jobs only site, which is pretty nice. But you can keep an eye out for these on these sites for new opportunities.
Yeah, and there's also like a lot of different unconventional ways to find like work. You don't have to always be a full-time artist at a studio or a company. A lot of these AA, AAA studios, a lot of animation studios, they outsource their work, and there's a lot of these outsource studios that hire artists to work for them. There's also freelance work. If you don't get hired at a company as a full-time artist, there's also always chance for you to freelance for them, and that ends you in a full-time role. There's a lot of people on social media too, a lot of recruiters who'll just like make informal posts like, hey, our studio is looking for like 2 artists, or our studio is looking for this or that. Like drop your portfolio in the comments, and like that's another thing to kind of keep a lookout for.
All right, so here we have some industry portfolios from people already working. Some of these names might be familiar if you've been here before, but first off, we're gonna look at the entry-level portfolios, and these guys have already been working at their respective jobs for quite some time, but their portfolios have not been updated, so it's good, so we can study them. This guy is Benjamin Carr. I actually had a conversation with him a long time ago, and it was really nice. He gave me lots of good feedback. But he works at Blizzard, and what's great about this portfolio?
Do you want me to click onto any particular piece?
Sure. You can do the one you're on right now. So he's a character designer, and you can tell right off the bat that his style is very much already kind of gunning for the Blizzard look, the Overwatch look. And with character designs, especially for like games of this realm, having these explorations of what the character would look like, having a detailed prop call out for a weapon, that's something that's overlooked by a lot of people. You want to have prop design explorations for a character's weapon and how that weapon works with combat. Could you go back to that one guy?
This one?
Yeah, all the way at the bottom. Yeah. Detailing out how a character moves, how their attack looks. VFX is a big one. You want to explore what the magic or what the motion looks like. So you want to explore all of these things, not just the character itself. Exist with context. But the rest of his portfolio is pretty much like this. It's not like, it's very well rendered, but it's not like crazy well rendered. And it's like, for a concept artist, you don't need to worry about beautiful rendering all the time. It's more so about your drawing ability. This is Natalie Pellman. She joined Riot and Blizzard as an intern, I think, and now she works at LED Games. This is her concept portfolio that hasn't changed since I last saw it in like 2020. But what's great about this is turnaround, front and back. You have the weapon exploration, different iterations of what that looks like. Same, all of this, deep character explorations. The style, the pose, like the way the anatomy is drawn is very loose and fresh feeling. And it's very good for what Riot and Blizzard wants. And fan art specifically for Blizzard. And then if you go to her, oh my God, I can't see anything. Can you click on Petra, the one right below you?
Oh, what?
The link, right below concept art.
Right below concept, this one?
Yeah. I think this was one of her projects, and it's basically a fan lead character that she made. And it goes all the way from initial design, so different explorations, all the way down to what that character will look like in-game, expression and personality explorations, and then down to how that character attacks and what their move spread would be. So if you have a project or game that you really want to work on, I would recommend making making something like this where you're able to put that character into like the context of the game.
I'm gonna look at one senior portfolio and
Yeah.
then go to the next one.
Mhm.
Which one? Night Zane?
Night Zane, yeah.
Night Zane.
Night Zane is
Crazy.
crazy. I love her.
Which one do you want me to click on?
The one on the left is good.
This one?
Yeah. So she currently works at Riot Games. I think she's working at 2XKO. But what is great about this is just the amount of exploration she does, and it's all beautifully drawn as well. Like the proportions, the anatomy, perspective, all of that's very clean. You have different explorations, full renderings.
This is from the start again. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a turnaround. So this is something to keep in mind that you need you don't need all that to have a good portfolio or character design, but something to reference off of.
A lot of weapon design here, I think.
Lots of prop designs here. You can see how the little details of it function.
Let's look at her illustration stuff.
She's done work for Dota too, I think, and these are from a long time ago, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She's so good though. You have to make lots of stages where you like submit different options of like thumbnailing, and
Does Rember have a portfolio?
he has an art station.
You want to look at that?
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Or actually, should I move on?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm just gonna look these people, look their names up here.
Mm.
Where's the mouse? Okay. Okay, first up is my girl Cats. It's my girl Catsai. Love her. I will never miss an opportunity to plug her work. The Catsai, she worked on Into the Spider-Verse 2, and she's worked at Sony for Into the Spider-Verse. She worked on Kipo and The Age of the Wonder Beast. She was a psychology student in her undergrad, and she graduated with a psychology degree, and then got into the industry through an internship at Cartoon Network, I think. Her work is amazing. This is a good example of, I guess, if you want to be a background artist in the animation industry, or you want to be someone that works with a lot of color and light, her work is really you want to hire her for your video game or movie project just based on her command of color. Okay, we're gonna look at. I'm typing Christina Zhang.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Ooh, we're gonna show you some student portfolios, and
Am I typing it right?
these guys are. One of them is a
College sophomore.
college sophomore.
The other
is
one just got into
the
college.
other one just got into college.
She just got accepted. Feel the rage, fellas. Hold on. Where's? How do I load? Oh, do I have to click on it?
Right?
Doesn't want to load, does it? Yeah. Christina's fucking insane, bro. Yeah, you see how loose the sketches are, loose the anatomy is, but this person has a good grasp on their fundamentals, and they're really focusing on trying to find out what their unique voice is as an artist. A really good command on color, light, composition. She changed up the portfolio a bit. Yeah. This is a really good thing to have in portfolios of this kind, where it's this one big project that you work on and you have all this branding and story and narrative for it. Will it let me? Okay. But yeah, this is like her personal project that she developed. So it's like kind of the complete package with a lot of character design, animal, like vehicle prop design, like dynamic poses. You got turnarounds in there. You got expressions in there. Yeah, very, very, very cool portfolio. And I think she did freelance work for Netflix and DreamWorks, I think. So yeah, very, very impressive portfolio. And the other one is a person that just got into college. Yeah. With two parts to their portfolio. Can I make this bigger? But yeah, you can see that already there's a lot of really good exploration for the characters, for the textures, for storytelling.
And the wrapping of everything too.
Yeah, like everything is so well designed and also really well presented. So you can really tell that this person put a lot of work into this particular project and like researching and stuff. And it's like they're not just drawing, I guess, like the same kind of thing over and over again. Like this is a really cool like weapon design. The other one.
Oh, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
When you're actually working in the studio, the pieces that you are presenting to your art directors will probably not look like this, but dressing it up like this will help your portfolio stand out a lot when you are in the hiring process. So just a note.
Yeah, just more stuff from the.
Good stuff.
Lots of good stuff. Yeah.
I hope you guys feel some rage within you. Deeya and I had a similar story where any of you know Irie Pan, you can look her up.
Oh my god.
She's our year. And
I remember the day I came across her portfolio for the first time. I have never felt that angry in my life.
Deeya blocked her on Twitter.
This pissed me off, bro. Dude, she changed up her portfolio, did she?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my god. I don't want to look at this, bro. But yeah, Irie Pan, you take this name within the video game animation industry, people will immediately know who you're talking about. This person, she is crazy.
So if you're looking for inspiration on how you want to design or lay out your personal projects, I highly recommend going onto her site and looking through. She has like 3 or so like dedicated like exploration projects. They're all very nicely designed and just drawn. Yeah.
Getting angry, bro. Rage. It's just art's so good it makes you angry. Yeah, very, very good stuff. But I hope this can contextualize the level that we're talking about when it comes to people, I guess, in the industry. Okay. Now we're going to go into our portfolios.
Oh, we're just gonna quickly go through that.
Yeah. Do you want me to search you up?
I'll just leave Rachel. Time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my portfolio landing page is very much character design-esque, and I pretty much geared it towards League or League-adjacent art styles. This was kind of created under the supervision of my unofficial mentor, Robert Montel. He gave me a lot of feedback about how to not lay out the characters, but to push my posing, push my color and light, and really make dynamic characters. And that's something that's important to Riot, and so that's what I've kind of centered my characters around. What I'm missing kind of over here is a lot of more so turnarounds. I don't have a lot of turnarounds. I'm lacking prop exploration. So that would be detailed callouts of what the weapons look like, how the characters look when they're attacking. what else did I write over there? And I don't really have enough studio-specific fan art. Like, I could probably make a League fan character if I wanted to better boost my chances. That's my main portfolio. I have like my professional stuff laid out here.
Illustrations.
Illustrations. A sample of my work here.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of cohesion here, but I'm not really selling myself as an illustrator, so it's okay.
Mm. Anything else?
Claws and chaos. It's ding dong. Exclamation point, exclamation point. So I have quite a lot of different styles that I work in, and this is work.
None of the information about this particular
This is all
project.
NDA, by the way.
Yeah.
So no pictures.
Yep.
So this is something our studio is cooking up at the moment. It's a side project from our main thing. This is really, really fun. And when you're in smaller studios like this, you kind of have, I guess, quite the range of things that you work on. You wear a lot of hats, you do a lot of different things depending on what your boss needs. And so it's just like a sample of all the different types of work that I do.
It's a fun-ass project
It's
to
a
work on.
fun-ass
It's so fun.
project.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will move on to my portfolio real quick. So yeah, one thing about portfolios is that when you are designing your site, you want to make sure that there's as less clicks as possible for someone looking at your portfolio to get to the work you want them to see. So like, if you have a landing page that doesn't have any work on it, I would recommend not having that. Just like directly land the person into your best work or into like a collection of your best work. I'll show off the UI UX design from Claws and Chaos because that is my main chunk of stuff. But yeah, like here's where also like presentation or design of your portfolio is really important to have like cohesion, have a good kind of branding. Oh, these colors are washed out on this. But yeah, like take some time to really work on the branding of whatever project that you are presenting to people. Another thing is like if you're working at a smaller studio or just as an artist working in a discipline that has a lot of tech in there, there will be times when you will have to make compromises and sacrifices and do maybe work that maybe you don't really want to do, but you just kind of have to swallow the pill. All right.